So you mean to tell me we're living in a day and age where you can just wake up and decide to record a YouTube video and that's normal? Yeah, we're living in that day and age.
Slowly kisses passing by the river.
Hi, my name is Leanne and I am a writer. I don't really know what I'm doing here, so you're gonna have to be a little bit patient with me while I figure this whole thing out. I guess I could just tell you a little bit about my story, how I got on YouTube, and how I even became a writer in the first place. So, back when I was like 7, I discovered the gacha community through my sister. The app that I originally used was called Gacha Studio, and it was basically this app where you could create a bunch of different characters and you could tell stories with them. Because of the gacha community, I just fell in love with storytelling. It took a lot to make a gacha video because you'd have to screenshot each individual movement of the characters. You would have to find music that wasn't copyrighted. You'd have to put that in a video, edit every individual screenshot, choose different lengths for it, and find a story to tell in the first place. People who were part of the gacha community were a different kind of freak, and if you can tell, I was one of those freaks. Back in 2021, I started this channel under the name May Indigo, after one of my gacha characters. I had 2 separate storylines at the time. There were some videos where I featured May and Logan and some of their friends, and there were other videos where I featured characters from a separate story, and I really planned on just building on the storyline as I built on the channel, but I was really young when I started and I didn't know what I was doing, and I eventually started to think my work wasn't good, so I made all the videos private. I never made a formal video saying that I was quitting, but I quit. Looking back now, years later, I don't really know why. They were some good videos, they were funny, but I just didn't know that at the time. Now I'm older, I'm back, and because of gacha, I've discovered a love for writing. I love books. I absolutely love books. I fell in love with reading when I was in about grade 5 or so. Growing up and reading as a young child, there are some themes and stories that really bothered me. I'm in elementary school, why am I finding this in my book that I'm trying to read? It got me thinking, if I'm so dissatisfied with how these things are, why can't I do it myself? Why can't I try to make an impact, just writing my own stories? I thought about it, but I didn't really act on it. What I look for when I read a book is less about real world drama and more about human connections. A lot of the time, what would happen is a character would have some kind of quirk, and because of that quirk, we were supposed to care about the character, but I don't know anything about the character, and that really frustrated me. Picking up a book, I would read the title, I'd read what the story was about, I would just think, wow, this is a really cool thing. This is a really cool book, and then I would just find, with absolutely no warning, themes that, as a Christian and even as a child, I just didn't understand why they had to be in the book, and if they were in the book, why couldn't have there been at least some kind of warning? In my stories, I try to keep those things out of the story, and if I do include them, it would be in a way that I would personally say is unique. I'm a little girl with big dreams, and I really want to change the way that people interact with each other, the way we think about storytelling, storytelling is a big part of who we are. Even if you don't like writing per se, a lot of people can relate to just listening to their parents tell them stories, like movies, because of the story that's being told. It's a big part of who we are, and I believe that through the stories that are told, it really just shapes the way we as people we think, because stories are revolutionary, and I just really want to be a part of that. And I think I have some really good things that I could contribute. As for the channel, I would probably post videos about writing, tips that I, in my writing journey, have found pretty useful, my own stories. I've worked on a series for a really long time now, and I might be able to get it published soon. There's an author, his name is Andrew Peterson, and he wrote the Wing Feather Saga series, and ever since reading that in like 7th grade, I wanted to write a story that impacted me the way the Wing Feather Saga did, and so many other stories have. So if you want to come along for the journey, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the ride.